into the flow. I glide like it's simply no traction on the flow.
You think about the yin and the yang every time. It's like when you did the first track of the Wu, like you took the rage to do a piece of art,
right.
To put the beauty. When you listen to Cream, this is the perfect mix between to take the rage to go and do the beauty. Do you remember the first session in studio?
I'll give you some history on that. A lot of the beats for the first album was made in my apartment, 234 Morningstar Road. And the funny thing about it is that in the daytime, it was a studio, right? It's just a small apartment. And in the daytime, I would have the equipment and make beats. But at nighttime, I had to sleep on the floor with me, my woman, and my child. That was my situation. You would never know that. You come in the daytime, hey, make music, smoke weed, leave. I had to roll out a boxing mat and sleep on the floor, right? But that's my dedication to my music. But when you think about Cream or Can It Be So Simple, I'm making these tracks with the ASR. I'm making the breakdown. I have the intro.
Everybody's talking about the good old days, right? Everybody, the good old days, the good old days.
Good old days.
Well, let's talk about the good old days.
So I can't wait for Ghost to come over and Ray to come over so I can be like, yo, listen to this. And it goes, everybody good old days, and the beats run down at once. I say, yo, I want you and Ray on this one. And they start writing. But we don't record it yet. It's just that's gonna be their beat. Method Man, that song actually was first recorded almost a year earlier. And the funny thing about that song that I don't mind telling you is that I had no electricity in my apartment. I had to plug to the downstairs apartment where my aunt lived in order to have electricity, And I had no money to pay the rent. We was moving out. It's out. You know, when you run out of money, you can stay in the apartment like 3 more months before they come and hit the sign on your door and all that. So I'm about to leave. My telephone, everybody's calling me from jail collect. I'm accepting collect calls. Like, yo, bad call. That's it, I'm done. And so it was cool. But anyway, Meth comes over, he walks from Park Hill down to my crib, he comes in, and I just made the beat. He came over to smoke a blunt with me Friday night, what he normally do. He likes to do his hustling, and then to get away from the street hustle, the Wu members would come to my house and hang there because it's like, here, you could make some music, you could chill, go watch a kung fu flick. It's like no guns, you know, it's neutral. You may run into your enemy. You may come to my house and see a guy from the other projects on the couch, but here is a neutral zone. And anyway, so Method Man was done that way. And I had an 8-track recorder. I showed him the beat. He was like, yo, I got something for that right now. And he just kicked the whole fucking verse to the beat. And I did it live. We did that whole track live and recorded it.
M-E-T-H-O-D, man. M-E-T-H-O-D, man. M-E-T-H-O-D, man. Hey, you, get off my cloud. You don't know me and you don't know my style. Who be getting down when they come to a jam? Here I am, the Method Man.
Of course, a year later, we went to the studio and we did the version you hear in the video. But the original homegrown version was made like that. So a lot of the songs was demos first. Chess Boxing was a song originally called the 6-Man Symphony that was recorded in Stapleton Projects. And it had even other MCs on it. Street Life was on the original one. You know what I mean? I think Cold Chillin', Marley Marl did the symphony with 4 MCs.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but it got to be funky. It got to be funky if you're gonna be on it. I don't care who stops.
We was like, yo, we gonna do the 6-Man Symphony. It was Juzza, Ray, Asham, Street Life, probably me and Dirty. But when it became a record, we changed it all around. You know what I mean? But these things grew. This music grew to be what it was. But the demos we had, we knew, and I definitely knew that, yo, after seeing the industry and being through it, I was like, this is what the world needs. Because, and I'll just say this to you real quickly, and I'll pass it back to Math. We was the downtrodden. Wu-Tang wasn't like the college graduates, not even the high school graduates. It wasn't the guys that live in the suburbs. like EPMD, maybe they had a nice suburban home. They was cool, they was dope. You know, Run DMC, they had the chance to go to college. It was cool, they was dope. But the Wu-Tang are the guys who were already ex-felons, high school dropouts, single parents, the people that was only meant to feed the system. And we was able to like, with our music, we got out of the system.
Do you remember the first time, I don't know if you were there, the first time that you heard the Ol'Dirty Bastard flow?
Shimmy, shimmy, y'all, shimmy, yam, shimmy, yeah. Give me the mic so I can take it away. Off on the natural charge, bon voyage. Yeah, from the home of the Dodger Brooklyn squad.
Your first reaction, like?
No, he's my cousin. So I asked him that question.
Yeah, first time I heard Ol'Dirty flow, I thought he was dope. One thing about Ol'Dirty, and I said it the other day, is that I've never, ever heard him say the same rhyme the same way twice.
Yeah.
Always change it up different. So it's like, it was hard, you know, if you rocking with him, it's like, he gonna get you. It's like, cause he gonna go somewhere else with it. But yeah, his flow, yeah, Ol'Dirty could flow.
It was to me the greatest flow. Like there was something organic.
It was natural.
Yeah.
That's what he meant. He never do the same thing twice. He's always changing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, he's my cousin. He was older than me, but I had knowledge of self before he decided to take knowledge of self. And he didn't like the rhyme. I used to make him rhyme, or we would fight. You know what I mean? You know, you gotta rhyme, you gotta write. And he started writing. And he started writing it from a place nobody never came from. You know what I mean? He started writing for the old fungus. So I come cold like old fungus mold.
I come old like toad fungus mold.
Like that's some funky shit. Shit between your toes with it, you know what I mean?
Do you see a bridge, an artistic bridge between what he was doing and what a guy like Young Thug could do today?
Honey man, dropped on the head of any nigga wanting man. Pop me as any young fast, I'm so faster than Sunny man.
Oh, I think Ol'Dirty is one of the biggest inspirations of many of the artists.
Yeah.
I felt like it started with Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
Mississippi putting it down. I'm the hottest round. I told y'all mother, y'all can't stop me now.
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki on them titties when I sign it. All these niggas so one-track minded. But really, I don't give a F-U-C-K. Forget Barbie, fuck Nicki, she's fake.
I felt like he was the guy that opened up that ideology or that path that kind of artistry could exist in. Busta Rhymes is the best person to ever tell me a story about ODB. He said that after listening to ODB's album, he was freed. He was like kind of freed from what to do.
Busta Rhymes up in the place with the ODB. Busta Rhymes, yeah, you rhyme after me. The ODB was nominated for a Grammy. Congratulations, Bust, with your solo album.
People be in a box in hip-hop or in music itself. In ODB, his first single, Brooklyn Zoo.
Brooklyn, so shame on you when you step through the Ol'Dirty Bastard. Brooklyn, so what?
The hook comes at the end of the song. And he eats it up all the way through, and it was the #1 song in New York. #1 today, coming in at #1. Ol'Dirty Bastard, Brooklyn Zoo. Hey, what? I'll bust your ass right now.
Yeah, right.
He comes in. The first thing he says, I never forget the other line he did on Shame on a Nigga, right?
Shame on the nigga who tried to run game on a nigga who's buck wild with the trigger. Shame on a nigga who tried to run game on a nigga who's buck side fuck ass up.
Chump, you mess around, you get jumped, right? When he said that, I remember some DJs like, yo, he's like, fuck that. He's going from point A to point Z. You want to start with us? You're going to get jumped. We're not fighting. We're not talking. You're going to get stomped out, basically. You know what I mean? And that ideology or that rawness and roughness of his flow and of his personality penetrated deep into hip-hop. And I think you do see it in a lot of MCs now.
But you had this way to break formats when on Bobby Digital. That track when you're rhyming the B, the O.
The B, the B, the Y, the D, the I, the G, the I, the T, the A, the L.
You break all the rules in that track.
Yeah. Wu-Tang attack your emotions, you know what I mean? One thing we have is each person inspires the other to do better.
It's an emulation competition?
Yeah, it's an internal competition. It's the same way when we started the saga continues, math came to me to like smack me in the head with some beats. Like, listen to this, yeah? I'm like, oh, shit, okay. This is dope, yo, you know what I mean? On that, I mean, I identified it as Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? That's that Wu shit, man. You know what I mean? And that's when that first time I asked him potentially, like, yo, you should do the next album. Like, this is like, you know what I mean? And he shunned away from it at the time, but he kept creating. And he created without no objective. That's, I guess, the most important thing I want to say to you and your audience, is to create without an objective. Picasso did not know the painting was going to be worth $20 million. He just painted. That's how he did these beats on this album. He just made them. And then when the artists heard them, they was inspired to rhyme on them. On a Better Tomorrow, I paid them to rhyme before the song. It's like, you know, or on A Diagram, you know, we negotiating how many bars and how much money we gonna get. On this album, no, you just hear the beat on the bus. Yo, what's that? Yo, let me get some of that. You know what I mean? And that's how it was in the early phases as well. It was like you hear the track, you come over to my crib, you hear it, like Method Man, you heard, yo, yo, let me get that. I got something for that right now. Let me see what you got. M-E-T, okay, good, let's get it. Boom, you know what I mean? Natural, organic. And that's another reason why the saga continues, because that organic energy still exists. Now, even if I've become this, you know, whatever you want to call me now, this evolved artist that's making film and movie scores, whatever, you know what I mean? We still have a Wu-Tang pioneer sitting right there, right on the basement, like, hold on. Now, and he's still into his meticulous way of writing the music, you know what I mean? And it inspires something inside those MCs. And I think some of the Wu-Tang MCs sound the best they've sounded in a long time. Not that they don't have other records out with their dope lyrics and all that, but I mean just as far as the presence and the energy of them. You hear Inspector Deck on Lesson Learned.
Said 1, 2, 3 into the 4. I glide like it's simply no traction on the floor.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. I glide like he came in with a West Coast.
On the floor.
He came in with a West Coast intro, right? Right, that was a Snoop Dogg intro.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door.
Then he goes into his own flow, and then he says one of the most wittiest lines in the fucking world when he says,
you know very well, Betty swell, you can tell he gel. My price hiking like the pills Martin Shkreli sell. Mathematics, tracks, I craft havoc.
Like, even when he said on People Say, he's like, online gangsters, I'm giving them screenshots. It's like, that's...
yeah, you know what I mean? So
that's a line.
Yeah, his mentality
like,
is, but music invokes it. So, you know, you go to a political song like Wah, 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 and you hear me.
Like a black man, life ain't worth a loaf of bread. Stop while I shoot, you stop, they still shoot.
That's the kind of vibe that the music was bringing out of us.
You were talking about EPMD.
My squad stays on point like that. It's the joy.
And you have Redman on this album, like the son of the Death Squad is now Wu-Tang. It's like Bart Simpson in South Park.
Stupid. That's funny. But as he says Death Squad niggas don't play.
Them Wu-Tang niggas don't play.
Jersey niggas don't play.
Staten Island niggas don't play.
And you gonna learn. You gonna learn. No, we love Redman. And mathematics has a special relationship with him.
Yeah, I got a good relationship with Red. I've been rocking with Red, been on the road with him since '95, since the show tour and the Month of the Man tour. So I have my setup over here, he'll have his setup over there, and we'll be up all night and we'll be going through music. So you know, I was hearing what he was working on, he was hearing what I was working on, and we just engaged musically. So it was like, it was a no-brainer when he was hearing certain joints, like, yo, it's like, come on, let's get it. Let's get it.
Were you impressed when you saw Eminem doing his strum freestyle?
We better give Obama props, cause what we got in office now's a kamikaze that'll probably cause a nuclear holocaust.
I was impressed, I was encouraged. I felt proud for hip hop in all reality because...
Because you didn't sign Eminem.
No, not because of that.
Is that true?
No, I mean, Eminem, you know, he didn't pass my radar personally early on. He passed some of my students' radar early on. And so I met Eminem after 8 Mile.
Fuck this battle, I don't want to win, I'm outie. Here, tell these people something they don't know about me.
To get up there and do what he did and say what he said, it was really cool for hip hop because sometimes, you know, like if a black guy do it, it's just dismissed as black guys complaining. But for one of the top artists in the business, and he's top in many forms, economically, he's one of the lyrical tops. He's also the only truly successful, really mega successful white MC. For the white brother to say it and be brave enough to say that, I think that's hip hop all the way. And I commend him for that.
How did you react this summer when you saw Charlottesville?
I was a little surprised, like this. What year is this? We in the U.S. and how they was like. I'm looking at them. It's like just the faces alone, like the conviction. Like wow, like that's how you really feel in this day and time.
And I think the youth is misled. Honestly, I mean I'm more of an optimism guy. I think like they are being taught something that's not true. Definitely. And they believe in it. And I was in Charlottesville a week before that happened. I was actually at the UVA. My niece graduated this year. I went to Thomas Jefferson. I went to the Madison House. I went to all these different places, and it was diverse people there. The president of Columbia, his son graduated, and he actually flew in to speak to the alumni. It seems like a normal American town. And then the next week on the news to see that was bubbling underneath, it kind of puzzled me. You know what I mean? And then there's a guy in the white extremist with a Wu-Tang t-shirt on. It puzzled me. They don't understand exactly what they're being fed in their minds to think that something like Nazism, which we was in Germany last week. We had a few German brothers with us, and we asked them, if a guy was a Nazi here, would you accept it? They said no. And this is the home of it. So how can it be way over so many thousand miles away in the country that fought against it? Don't make sense to us. And so yeah, it bothered us, and it bothered us the way our leaders reacted to it.
Oh yeah, and I seen this one white guy. Like they asked him. He said, my grandfather fought in World War II against the Nazis. Yeah. So how is the enemy in our country? Talking about the leaders are kind of protecting them.
Yeah.
He didn't understand that.
What's your definition of freedom? Because as a kid in France, we were always told that USA is the country of freedom.
There's more than one level of freedom. You could be free, physically free, but mentally bounded. You could be mentally and physically free, but economically bounded. You know what I mean? Some celebrities, they get economical freedom, right? As you see our football players, they have economical freedom, but they don't feel physically free when the cop could just pull them over and shoot them or treat them like an animal, treat them less than a man, especially if you got a 25-year-old cop pulling over a 35-year-old man. That's a different kind of vibration. It's like a kid telling you, sit down, sir, move, sir. You're like, hold on, kid. Wait a minute, kid. I'll pay for this service. We pay for the service. We pay for law and order. Like, it's not like they generate their own money. We pay for that service. A country is to serve the people so that the people can grow and flourish and expand the country through humanity, through trade, through things that cause it to grow. Even if you think about, let's talk about France for a minute, and don't get upset when I say this though, but even Napoleon, who was a big empire, he was an emperor, And he conquered many places. And he went to Africa and he stole a lot of gold. And he beat many countries, but he brought it back home. And some of the stuff you see here is a result of his pillaging. And you get to enjoy it. Everybody. In America, we don't get to enjoy the fruits of our labor. Even when the black man went to war and fought and did whatever, and whatever we came back with, whatever spoils we got, now he's in the line waiting for soup now. Or the Vietnam vet, old man you see on the street with his 2 legs off in a wheelchair talking about he need food. But we just went and took all the oil. It's like once they took, I didn't agree what they did to Saddam Hussein, right? Because they had him hiding in the cave and shit. That was kind of fucked up, but who knows what Saddam did to get his penalties in life. But once they got all the oil, why they raised the price of gas? It should have been like, America, $1 gas, 99-cent gas for everybody.
It went up higher.
It went up. Don't make no sense, right? And the same thing if you're a citizen of your country. If you ever got to walk outside and you couldn't get a bite to eat, after you know how much gold and silver and diamonds and land has been captured by your king, and your sons and daughters have fought to capture that, the least you could get is get bread. And when the French didn't get bread, Marie Antoinette said,
"Let them eat cake."
What do you guys do? Took them to the guillotine.
Yeah, took her
You know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, we can't even get no bread. Yo, we ain't even asking for no caviar that y'all motherfuckers eating. So that's how the black man feels in America right now. It's like, you know, we feel very underpaid for our services. You know what I mean? If you want to just put it in a simple capitalistic term, it's like we're underpaid for our services. And it's about hundreds of years of service.
As grown men that you're right now, as fathers, like, what is the most principal advice that you give to your kids?
Be themselves. Live out your life. You put them in the best position that you can, but at the end of the day, and ultimately they grow and become their own individuals, and that's what you want. You just hope that what you gave off to them, that they took to, they get it. Because a lot of times I wish I knew what I know now at their ages. So I try to give it to them as much as possible. I try to give off as much as possible.
Yeah, and I teach my children to be righteous and to respect everybody. You know what I mean? So always respect everybody. Don't have no prejudice towards nobody. You know what I mean? By being that way, when somebody does do something wrong, you could easily identify it because you already being at peace with everybody. You know what I mean? So if somebody now jumps out of order, you can identify it and you can decide how you want to handle that. And I tell my son the old Bruce Lee trick. I was like, if you want to before you get into a fight, it's okay to run, y'all. It's all right, it's good. Let the guy stand there and be angry. You know what I mean? If he chase you, hey, you can do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? My son is a taekwondo, you know what I mean? He might come around and break a dude arm. But we come in peace, prepared for war.
What's your definition of a clique?
A crew, clique.
Yeah, a bunch of dudes on the same mission, clicking together. That's why it was called Clique.
So welcome to our clique.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.